Howdy folks, I hope you're doing well today. Over the years, I have seen a number of people roll up extension cords and air hoses and various other things of that nature up, and about 98% of them all do it wrong. There are two different ways that work for extension cords. There's really only one way that works well for air hoses, but and even rope, you know, rope and air hoses kind of go together. But today I'm working with an extension cord, and since I prefer it rolled up the other way, just for use around the house, not for transport in a vehicle, I'm going to show you the way that I don't use first. Although this way is good for service trucks where it's just going to be thrown in the back or something like that, they don't get all twisted and tangled up, and they're easy to roll out, and you only have to unroll as much as you need. So I've already got my extension cord laid out, and I've got it doubled. So here you see the loop. This right here is the halfway point. The first thing to do is to tie a large loose knot in it. Loose knot, not tight, just loose. Alright, and do you see the direction that the knot is tied in here? So what you do next, you stick your fingers through, pull you some slack up, and get a loop. And that's where we start. And we do it again. And we do it again. And we just continue to make the same loop over and over and over again, all the way to the end. And it doesn't take very long. It takes less time and aggravation to do this than it does to untangle one that's been riding around in the back of a truck or in a service van or something another like that with a whole bunch of other equipment that it very easily gets tangled up in. But also you'll notice that I make all my loops in the same direction every single time. There's a reason for that. I'll show you when I get there. But you see how easy these loops are to make. And we'll get no more loops. So when you get to the end, you just take your two ends and you're done. Now, as far as what I said about all the loops being the same way, do you see how flat this thing is? And oh, look at there, it just folded right over. So you take and you can hang it on a hook or whatever you want to, and it does not get hung up. Now, as far as how do you unroll it, well, if you need the whole cord, you just undo that, and that's all you have to do, and it unrolls itself all the way to the end. And if you don't need that last little bit, all you have to do is just leave that knot right in there. And when it's time to roll it up, you don't have to lay it out and double it or anything else. It's already done. And you just start again. And I know a lot of folks are like, well, when I'm cleaning up on a job site, I'm ready to get gone. You know, I ain't got time to do all that. No, you're right, and I understand that, but that leaves you with two other options, and one of those I think is a big problem when you're in front of customers. And those two options is you can untangle it and loop it up, roll it up later at the shop or something like that, or you can do it on the job site, and when you get there, the customer sees that, well, I mean, you just spent 20 minutes in the truck untangling an extension cord and you're charging me for that time. Or you can show up on a job ready to go. because frankly, I've never heard a customer complain about it taking a tradesman a little bit of time to get up his tools and clean up his mess and all of that. I have heard countless customers complain about how long it takes a tradesman to get started when he gets to the job site. Alright, so the other way that I do around here, because I don't go out on job sites or anything like that, I apologize, I'm going to have to pause the video for a minute because I got to get my cord laid back out. Howdy folks, I'm back with the second way. I got my cord stretched back out, and it's important on all of these occasions, methods, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I'm missing the ground prong, but it's okay. But it's important to stretch the cord out because when people, they hold the end of the cord in their hand, whichever way they do it, and they wrap it around their arm, it actually causes the cord to become twisted in such a way, and I'm sure that you've seen them, once they get it wrapped, they pull it off, and then the whole cord will twist into a figure eight. That's because the actual cord itself is twisted. Now you see how it wants to curve a certain way every time? Well, if I take and twist it the other way, it tries to curve in the opposite direction. So when you're rolling these things up, it's important to keep it untwisted. And this is going to sound counterintuitive, but in order to untwist it in the loop, you have to twist it as you loop it up. It's easier to demonstrate with larger diameter hoses and rope and stuff like that. But to start with, you see, I don't hold the end of the plug right in my hand and start rolling it up. I get me a lot of slack hanging down there. You reach out, however big you want your loops. I tend to like my loops pretty large because it rolls up quicker. And as I bring it in, I don't know if you noticed that motion in my hand or not. I'll show you on the next loop. Alright, so I actually grab the cord between these two fingers and my thumb. When I get it rolled out and bring it right up here where you can see it, as I'm bringing it to my loop, you see I've got the cord on the tip of my thumb and on the second pad of my finger. And as I bring it in, I twist it. And that removes the twist loop from it. And you'll see occasionally I'll grab it and twist it a little more as I'm adjusting my length as I roll it up. And I've done it that way for so long that it's just natural. And this keeps them from getting kinked up and knotted up and bound up and other unpleasant things. And with it being rolled up this way, I have enough slack hanging down that I can plug it up. I can lay the cord on the ground in its loop, and when I'm done with it, I know exactly where to grab it, to pick it up, to roll it back up without having to unroll the whole thing again. There, you see that little, I don't even know what it's called, in this jump rope section. You see how it's bowed to my left at the bottom, which would be your right? That is because of a twist that over time has occurred in the cord, where the inside wires are twisted in a different direction than the outer sheath. But you'll see that with my method of rolling it up here and the first method, that's still not an issue. I may have twisted it too many times. Yeah, I think I twisted it too much. There we go. And this is all it takes to roll one up. And you'll see when we get to the end, I've got a long tail left hanging. Now, there's a couple things I can do to deal with that. Typically what I do is I just roll the cord a little bit more, and now I can plainly see that this was my starting side and this was my finishing side, and all the cord, all the layers or wraps are layered in there in that order. So as long as I hold it here, I can hand this end to someone and they can walk all the way to the end of the cord and it will never twist, tangle, or hang up. And for storage, I have some shelves in my barn that are made out of 2x4s and landscape timbers and stuff like that. So I just carry it in there and I loop it up over one of the corner legs that sticks up above the top, or I hang it on a large hook or nail or something like that, and it'll hang right there until I need it. Never be a problem. So anyway, in customary fashion, remember Proverbs 18:13, Acts chapter 17 verses 10 and 11, and 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. All three of which tell you that it's your responsibility to seek Scripture through Yahweh yourself and not listen to what someone else tells you it means. That's not to say that you can't discuss it, and you can certainly listen to preachers and whatnot, but ultimately it is still your responsibility to seek it out on your own. I hope to see each and every one of you in the kingdom of heaven. Yahweh bless.